Arms down by your side. Inhale, looking up to the thumbs. Exhale, bring the hands down and the head down. Inhale, bend the knees, look up. Exhale, step or jump. Inhale, reach forward on the toes. Exhale, pushing back. Inhale, come forwards. Exhale, push back. Keep the hips at the same height. Inhale, forwards. Exhale, push back. Hold the plank. Bend the knees down. So drop the knees down onto the mat. And then, nice easy chaturanga. Bend the elbows, digging them into the side of the ribs until your chest is on the floor in between the two thumbs. Now, without pushing your knees back, push your chin forward along the floor until your belly hits the floor, and then push up. Tuck the toes under, lift the knees, and swing into down dog. Here, close the mouth, close the eyes, draw the shoulders away from the ears and spread the fingers wide. Try to get the heels as close to the floor as you can, and the knees as straight as you're able to, and the back as flat as you can, drawing those ribs in. Breathing in for a count of 3 through the nostrils, and out for a count of 3 through the nostrils. Equal weight between thumb and the little finger. Take one more breath, and then rise up onto tiptoes, bend the knees, look up. Either step right leg, then left leg, or jump. Feet in between the two hands. Straighten the legs, bring the head down. Inhale, look up, and coming all the way up to standing again. And then bring the arms back down by the side. So we're going to do that 4 more times. Breathing in, looking up to the thumbs. Exhale, hands down, head down. Inhale, look up. Exhale, either step back, right, then left, or you can jump back. Hold the plank, draw the core in tight. Hold the position. Keep your shoulders directly above your hands, and make sure your pelvis doesn't lift or lower as you lift that right foot up a couple of inches off the floor. And then gently down. Keep that core tight, lift the left leg a couple of inches off the floor. And then gently down. Same again with the right. Make sure your butt doesn't stick out and your hips don't sag. Lower down gently. And with the left. Exhaling as you lift. Inhaling as you lower. Drop the knees to the floor for a nice easy chaturanga. Bending the elbows so that they point backwards. Scrape your upper arm, hugging the sides of your rib cage. Get the nipple in between the thumbs, butt in the air. Keep your elbows off the floor. Push your chin forwards. Make sure your knees don't move back till the belly is flat. And then come into up dog. Tuck the toes under, lift the knees, and swing the hips up into down dog. Again, close the mouth, close the eyes, breathe in for a count of 3 through the nostrils slowly, and out for a count of 3 through the nostrils slowly. Remind yourself that the in-breath is naturally shorter than your out-breath. So really try to elongate the in-breath and slow it down. Inhaling for 3 counts slowly. Exhaling for 3 counts slowly. Try to get the heels a little closer to the floor than you did the time before. Your knees a little straighter. Then rise up onto tiptoes. Bend the knees, look up. Exhale, either step or jump. Feet together, head down. And then inhale, arms come up and gently back down. David, can you close the door, please? I can hear you talking. Sorry. Exhale, inhale, looking up. Exhale, hands down, head down. Inhale, bend the knees, look up. Exhale, step or jump. Hold that plank position. Pulling in that core, hold the position, and then we're going to come in to chaturanga. Now you can do it from plank, or you can bend the knees like we did the time before. If you're doing it from plank, stay in the plank, don't collapse your lower back. And then before you push up, let the feet push you forwards and then up. And then swing into down dog, where you're going to hold that position for 5 breaths. Inhaling for 3, exhaling for 3. Inhaling for 3 and exhaling for 3. Inhaling for 3 and exhaling for 3. On the next breath, rise onto tiptoes, bend the knees, look up. Either exhale, step forward or jump. Straighten the legs, head down. Try to get the legs a little straighter than you did the time before. Inhale, arms come up to the ceiling. And exhale, hands come back down. Good. 2 more. Breathing in, arms coming up. And exhale, hands down, head down. Inhale, bend the knees, look up. Exhale, step or jump. Hold that chaturanga, nice and strong. Bring the right hand into the midline. Turn to the left. Take that left arm off the floor. Option to drop that underneath leg down onto the mat. If you do choose this option, try to lift that top leg up. And then gently release. Facing into plank once again. This time, left hand into the midline, turn to the right. Lift that right arm up in the air. Option to drop the underneath leg to the floor and lift the top leg. Otherwise, staying in Vasisthasana, side plank. And then gently come back. Now we come into chaturanga, your crocodile. So you can drop the knees onto the floor and do it from that position. Otherwise, lower down from plank. Before you lift the body, use your feet to push you forward first and then up. And then swing the hips back into down dog once again. So again, each time you're in this position, trying to go a little deeper as the body starts to loosen and warm up. Make sure your ears are in between your arms so that your head is in the correct position. Equal weight between thumb and little finger. Focus in on the breath. In through the nostrils very slowly, being mindful to slow down the in-breath, pulling in those ribs, and exhale for 3. On the next breath, rise up onto tiptoes, bend the knees, look up. Exhale, step or jump. Straighten the legs, head down. Again, trying to get a little deeper, draw the shoulders away from the ears. And then slowly coming up, looking up to the ceiling, and back down. Last time. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands down, head down. Inhale, bend the knees, look up. Exhale, step or jump. Hold that chaturanga. This time, bring the left hand into the midline and the right hand into the midline and take them back out again. So you're coming in, out, out. Trying to keep the pelvis still. One more time. Hand in, hand out, hand out. Last chaturanga. Bend the elbows. Push forward first and then up. And then swing those hips. One final few breaths in down dog. Pulling up those kneecaps, heels a little closer to the mat. Push the rib cage towards your thighs. Inhaling for 3. And exhaling for 3. Inhaling for 3. And exhaling for 3. Pulling those ribs in, releasing that tailbone. One last breath. Then rise up onto tiptoes, bend the knees, look up. Exhale, step or jump. Straighten the legs, head down. Arms come up, looking up. And exhale. Keep the hands in prayer position. So we're coming into Parivrtta Utkatasana, chair pose with a twist. So bend your knees. Sitting down on that imaginary low chair behind you. Now from here, you're going to twist to your right, getting that opposite elbow on the outside of that thigh. And then you turn your head and you're looking over that right shoulder, looking behind you. I'm going to show you from the side again. Now I want you to really think about pushing that top arm down onto the bottom arm. And as you do that, lift your torso away from your thigh. So you're not resting your belly on your thigh. Push the top hand down, raise the torso. Now just have a look at your knees. Yeah. Make sure that they're both level. One knee isn't sticking in front of the other knee. You've got a neutral pelvis. Make sure you're not hunching. Head up, butt down. Try not to have your head down here and your butt up here. Keep breathing. Keep this position. Looking over that right shoulder. And then extend that left leg back behind you into a lunge position. Now to make this easy, drop that back knee down onto the mat. If you can, the back knee is off. Look behind you. Option to have one hand on the floor, one arm in the air, or the hands can be in prayer position. Remember, your body follows where your eyes go. So whatever you're looking at behind you, see if you can look around a little bit further to your right, and then the head will turn, then the neck will turn, and the shoulders will follow. And then gently release, bringing the hands either side of that front foot. Now you're going to straighten both legs. And just hop that back foot in just a little, because we're now going to come into Parivrtta Trikonasana, revolved triangle pose. Okay? So make sure you're not hip hitching on that right hand side of the waist. So you can just take your right thumb and push that hip right back. So you're pushing the right hip back, the left hip forward. So you've got equal weight on both sides of the waist, equal length. Now, your left hand is going to come onto either the shin or the inside of the big toe or the outside of the little toe. Now, if you want to use a block, you can do. Okay? Place that left hand on the ribs and just turn the body. And then lift, so that right arm in the air. Twisting round. Parivrtta Trikonasana. Revolved triangle. Hold the position. And just make sure that you're pushing that left hip forwards and the right hip back. Pressing that right big toe, that front foot, into the floor, so you're not rolling onto the side of the foot. Keep breathing. In for 3 and out for 3. Long, slow in breath, slow, deep out breath. One more breath. And we're going to come into Parivrtta Ardha Chandrasana, revolved half moon. So move this hand forwards, just in front of the foot. And bend that front knee. And just hop the back leg in a little. That's it. So you're going to lift that back leg up in the air. So roughly, ideally getting the heel level with the hip. And you're twisting towards the opposite leg. Again, you can come onto the fingertips. You can hold onto a piece of furniture here. I'm holding onto the sofa here. Or you can put that hand on a block. And really you're trying to turn the body away from the floor without dropping that back leg. One more breath. And then bring the feet together. Coming into Padahastasana, that standing forward bend where your 2 forefingers and your thumb wrap around the big toe. Your palms are facing inwards. Inhale, straighten the arms and look up. And as you exhale, bend the elbows and push the crown of the head down towards the mat and draw those shoulders away from the ears. Close the mouth, close the eyes, and focus your mind internally on the counting of the breath. Long, slow in-breath for 3, through the nostrils, and slow, deep out-breath for 3, through the nostrils. And as you breathe in, just feel your ribs expand out to the side and out to the back, stretching those mid-back muscles. And again, the stretch you feel on a scale of 1 to 10 should be about a level 7. Challenging, mildly uncomfortable, not painful. If it's painful, bend the knees. Now release the hands, place the hands onto the hips and slowly stand back up. So now we're going to twist to the opposite direction, bringing the palms together in Anjali Mudra, your prayer pose, bending the knees, sitting down on that low stool behind you. Make sure you're not hunching your shoulders or rounding your back. So release the tailbone, lift the breastbone and draw those shoulders down. This time twist to your left. So you're getting that right elbow on the outside of that left knee. Okay? Looking behind you. Just have a quick glance actually just at the knees and make sure that right knee isn't shooting in front of the left knee. Pull it back. Both knees are flush. Keep breathing in for 3 and out for 3. Now you're going to push that top hand down into the bottom hand so that you're not collapsing your torso onto your thigh. You're lifting the torso up. Try not to have your butt in the air and your head down towards the floor because you want the opposite. Again, stay looking behind you. Keep that breath going and then extend that right leg out. Slide it back, coming into that lunge position. Option to drop that right knee down on the mat if you wish. Stay looking behind you and if you can, the knee comes off. Option to have one arm up in the air, one arm down the floor. Or if you want to bind, some of you that can, you can thread that hand through and clasp the hands behind the back. Again, keep that nice deep lunge. Otherwise, hands can stay in prayer position. And then gently, hands either side of the front foot. Straighten the front leg and hop the back leg in a little. So the toes of the front foot are pointing forward. The toes of the back foot is just slightly turned out to the side. Make sure you're not hip hitching on the right hip, so on the left hip rather, so push that left hip back and push that right hip forwards. So you have equal length on both sides of the waist. Now it's opposite hand to knee. So your left leg is forwards, your right hand is on the floor. And then turn your body to the left and lift that left arm up in the air. Draw those shoulders down and away from the ears. Now as you push that left hip, you want to make sure that you're not going to, as that left hip goes back and the right hip pushes forwards, that you're not going to roll onto the side of that left foot. So press that left big toe down into the mat. So you're not rolling onto the side of the foot. Draw those shoulders away from the ears. So remember, you can have your hand on a block or a piece of furniture, or you can have the hand on your shin like this if you prefer. Parivrita Trikonasana, revolved triangle. Keeping that breathing consistent, in for 3 and out for 3. Then just bend that front knee to come into Parivrita Ardha Chandrasana, revolved half moon. Bring that front hand forward, that right hand forward, and just hop that back foot in a little so that you can then lift that back leg in the air, lifting that right leg up so the right heel is roughly level with the right hip. Twist your body to the left and that left arm in the air still. Inhaling for 3 and exhaling for 3 through the nostrils. Inhaling for 3 and exhaling for 3. Inhaling for 3 and exhaling for 3. One last breath. Hang in there and then gently drop that foot down. Coming into Padahastasana now. So the palms go underneath the soles of your feet. Inhale, straighten the arms, look up. And as you exhale, bend the elbows and push the crown of the head down towards the mat. And again, you might need to bend your knees to do this. Remember, you don't want to feel more than a 7 out of 10 at the backs of the legs. Draw the shoulders down. Breathe in for 3 and out for 3, nice and slowly. Inhaling for 3 and exhaling for 3. 2 more breaths. Pushing the crown of the head towards the mat. Just notice where your body weight is. Are you leaning back into the heels or are you leaning forward into the toes? And notice if you rock forward and back, what that does to the stretch in the back of your legs. And then gently release the fingers, place the hands on the hips, and slowly coming back up to standing. Good. So now we're going to do a balance. So I want you to lift the ball, come onto the ball of your right foot. So some of you might want to get a yoga strap here to place behind the ball of the foot as you lift the leg in the air. So you can use your yoga strap. Or you can use the belt of a dressing gown in place of a yoga strap if you don't have one. For those that don't need it, again, it's that yoga kind of pincer grip with the 2 forefingers and the thumb gripping around the big toe. So, left hand on the hip, grab the big toe with your 2 forefingers and your thumb and slowly extend that leg forwards. Just going to do this from the side, so you can see, get a better view. Extending that leg in front of you. Now the leg doesn't have to be straight, it can stay bent, doesn't have to be high. The fact is that you're balancing. So remember, whenever you're balancing, the thing that's going to help you most is your drishti, your focal point. So choose something to look at that's straight ahead of you. And then you're not focusing on it, you're looking through it like you're in a trance, like you've gone glazed. Like you've gone cockeyed. And it's just you, the drishti, and the breath. Inhaling for 3, and exhaling for 3. I'm just going to turn back towards the camera. So now you're going to take that same leg out to the right, to the side. Again, if you're having difficulty, just bend the knee if it feels better for you. Inhaling for 3, and exhaling for 3. Inhaling for 3, and exhaling for 3. And now bring that leg back to the center. Both hands are on the hips, and just hold this for 5 breaths. Trying to get that right knee as straight as you can. There's a softness in that left knee. Draw the shoulders back and down. Flex the foot so the toes are up to the ceiling. And go to the breath. Remember, when you struggle, when there's discomfort, breathe harder, louder, deeper. And then gently release. And change leg. So now we come onto the ball of that left foot. Either use your yoga strap or the belt of a dressing gown. Otherwise, 2 forefingers and the thumb wrap around the big toe. And slowly extending that leg in front of you. Inhaling for 3. And exhaling for 3. Nice and tall. Pushing the crown of the head up to the ceiling. Like a balloon floating up to the ceiling, your head. Melted butter on your shoulders, dropping those shoulders away from the ears. And now take this leg out to the side. To the left. Again, don't feel that you have to keep the knee straight or that you have to lift the leg high. Slight Jalandhara Bandha, the chin lock, so drawing that chin back towards your neck, almost like you're giving yourself a double chin. You should hear that constriction in your windpipe as you do that, enabling you to breathe a little louder. Bring the leg back into the front, hands on hips. Hold that leg out, stretched in front. One more breath. And then gently release. Well done, everyone. Good. Okay. So that really kind of works the glutes, the quads, and the hip flexors. So now we're going to do a glute stretch. And again, it's standing one leg balance. So we're going to take that right foot off the floor again. Okay. So I'm going to give you a couple of options here. You're going to bring the full version, you bring that right heel up to the left hip, okay? Now that depends on your hip mobility. You mustn't strain the knee. So if you feel that the heel doesn't want to go up to the hip, just kind of leave it somewhere resting on the thigh, wherever you can manage, okay? Otherwise, heel comes up to the hip. I'm going to show you this from the side. And then, just to keep that foot in place, I just stick my butt out and have a low squat so that I can do hands free. So I take the same arm as the leg, right arm goes behind the back, like this, and I want to try to hold on to the toes here, if I can. Don't worry if you can't hold on to the toes, just leave the hand behind the back like this, and then you're going to reach for the floor or your shin or a block, okay? If you can hold on to the toes, then do. And the head comes down. Otherwise, you can just hold the tree position for Vrksasana, if that feels more manageable for you. You just do what you can, work at your own pace. And then slowly coming up and release the foot. Good. Now changing sides. Left foot. Bring that left heel up to the opposite hip, to the right hip. So remember, if that feels uncomfortable on your hip or your knee, just leave it here. You can just do a basic tree pose if you feel that's better for you. Same hand as the leg. So left hand goes behind the back and a little bit of a spinal twist to try to hold on to those toes. Okay? If you can't reach the foot, just leave the arm behind the back. Now your hand can reach down for a block or your shin, or if you can, get the hand down onto the floor and bring the head down towards the knee. Breathe in for a count of 3 and out for a count of 3 through the nostrils. And release, looking up, come up onto the fingertips, soften the knees and slowly come back up to standing. And release the leg. Good. Stepping the legs wide apart, slightly pigeon-toed, angle the heels out and the toes in. Padottanasana, C. So forward bend, stretching the inner thighs and your hamstrings. Going to interlace your fingers behind your back like this. Roll the shoulders back, stretch the arms, lift the hands up and reach forwards. Getting the arms up to the ceiling and overhead. If that feels uncomfortable to open out the chest and shoulders in this way, then just bring your fingertips onto the floor like this instead, so that the fingers are level with the big toes. And then try to get the head as close to the floor as you can without forcing it. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. You might need to bend your knees a little if your hamstrings feel tight. That's fine. Just go to where you can manage. Inhaling for 3 and exhaling for 3. 2 more breaths. and then release the hands. Looking up. Now you're going to bend the knees and come down into Malasana, your yoga squat pose. For those with any knee issues, you're going to have to lift your butt up above the height of your knees here. You can always put your hands on the floor as well. Otherwise, you're sitting quite low. Okay, now if you feel your heels are coming off the floor, then you can widen your stance, put your feet further apart, or you can put some yoga blocks underneath the heels. But you can always do it with the heels up as well, as more of a balance challenge. Now, I want you to use your elbows to push out so that your knees go wider apart. So you're pushing your palms together inwards and you're pushing your elbows outwards. At the same time, push your head, the crown of the head, upwards to the ceiling. So head pushes up, shoulders pull down away from the ears, hands push inwards, elbows push outwards. Breathing in for 3 through the nose, closing the eyes now, and out for 3 through the nose. Long, slow in breath and slow, deep out breath. Really lengthening the spine, neutral pelvis. One last breath and then gently release. Place the hands on the floor. Now coming onto all fours. Turn the palms in so your fingertips are facing inwards. Now from here, you're going to thread your right hand through. So thread the right hand underneath the left hand, bend the left elbow out to the side, and put your right ear and your right shoulder on the floor. Take the left arm behind your spine and place the fingers in the crease of that right hip, at the top of the hip. Then turn your head to the left, so you're almost on the back of your skull, looking towards the ceiling. Pull that left shoulder and elbow back. Inhaling for 3. Exhaling for 3. Take one more breath. And then gently release. Coming back onto all fours, turning those fingertips in. Now we go the opposite direction. Thread that left hand through, bend the right elbow out to the side, and drop that left ear and shoulder to the floor. Take the right arm behind your back and place the fingertips into the crease at the top of your left hip. Pull that right elbow and shoulder back and turn your head to the right as you look up towards the ceiling, almost on the back of your skull. Inhaling for 3 and exhaling for 3. Really filling the lungs. Notice if one side feels different to the other, if you have more twist on one side, or if you're a little tighter on one side than the other. One more breath, and then gently release. Coming back onto all fours. So we're coming into glute stretch now, Rajakapotasana. So you're going to bring that right knee forwards. So you're going to slide it forwards and turn it out to the side. So your right knee points out to the right hand corner of the room. What you don't want is the right knee pointing forward and the right foot pointing back. So right knee sideways, and as the knee goes out to the side, try to push that right heel forwards away from your pubic bone, okay? Then you're going to sit back down, okay? So I'm going to show you one for an alternative for those with knee issues, but I'm just going to show you this from the side first of all so you can see. Okay, so I have the knee, it's not pointing forwards, it's turned to the side, and the foot comes forwards. Then I'm going to sit back down. Now when I do this, there's a tendency, if you can see my pelvis, to roll to one side, okay? Towards the side of that front knee. So I want to push the hip forward so that my pelvis is square. And I want to feel the stretch here on the buttock and slightly underneath as well. Then I'm going to rest my forehead on the two hands. But I'm going to give you two other options. You can stay here, or you can add in a spinal twist for more challenge. So you bring your hands towards that front knee, and it's opposite elbow on the outside of the knee. And you come to that kind of prayer position here. But it does require a little bit of balance as well. But you'll feel a deeper glute stretch as well as a spinal twist. Now for those with any knee issues, I'm showing you the alternative now. If you don't need the alternative, stay in the stretch that you're in and just keep breathing. So for those with knee issues, the right knee comes in front of the right hip and the right heel is level with the right knee. So you've got a 90-degree angle at the front, and also you can see a 90-degree angle at the back leg. One hand either side of the knee and the foot, and I'm going to fold my torso over the thigh. I'm trying to bring the forehead towards that big toe. So that's your alternative position for those with any knee issues. So you're not compressing the joint beyond that 90-degree angle. And then gently pushing up. Bring that other leg forwards and change side. So now drop the knees over to the left and stretch that right leg out behind. And now let that front knee, that left knee point out to the left-hand corner of the room. And you can rest the forehead on the two hands, or you can bring the opposite elbow, left thigh is forward, so right elbow would twist across, and you'd look behind you. I'm reminding you of the alternative stretch, two 90-degree angles, folding the torso over that shin. So doing whatever version you feel comfortable, and staying here for a few more breaths, keeping the hips and the pelvis level so you're not rolling onto one side. Two more breaths. And then slowly coming up. Stretching the legs out in front of you now. Bringing the arms up to the ceiling, coming into Purvattanasana and stretch the arms behind you. So the fingertips are facing forwards. Now remember, just remind yourself when the fingers are pointing forward, it tends to turn those shoulders in, hunched a little. You've got to really roll those shoulders back, lift the breastbone. If it feels better for you to have your palms facing out or backwards, that's fine. But traditionally, Purvattanasana is done with the fingers pointing forwards. You can make it easier by bending the knees and coming into that reverse table. Otherwise, two straight legs. Take a deep breath in. Roll the shoulders back, lift the breastbone up, and squeeze the glutes and use those butt muscles to push your hips and pelvis off the mat. Keep breathing. Inhaling for 3 and exhaling for 3. Now you can look straight ahead or you can look slightly up towards the ceiling. Try not to let the head flop completely back. Don't lose control of the neck. In for 3. Out for 3. Squeezing those butt muscles. And then gently lower those hips back down onto the mat. Releasing those arms. And then from here, I want you to slowly roll through the spine and come down, lying on your back. So here, we're going to do some double leg raises into halasana, into plow. So showing you the alternative version first, we're going to do single leg first, so that you don't, nobody hurts their back. So you just got to make sure that your back doesn't arch here. It's got to be pressed into the mat. So we'll start off nice and easy on this first rep. So you're going to breathe in, engage your core, pelvic floor, suck in the navel, lift up the right leg to 90 degrees in the air. And then left leg follows. So now both feet are in the air. So this is your modified version. Just press the hands into the floor, tilt the pelvis, press that lower back off and try to lift the tailbone and the sacrum and the coccyx maybe an inch or 2 off the mat. So keep pressing the arms down without hunching the shoulders and just try to lift that tailbone, sacrum, coccyx, and then gently release, untilt. And then place the right leg down slowly without arching your back, and then the left leg down slowly. So now we'll do the full variation. You know the modified version if you want to do that. If you feel your back is arching, don't lift 2 straight legs, otherwise do this. Can you see my hands? Placing one hand on top of the other like this, and putting them under my sacrum, my lower back. So I can lift 2 straight legs down, be a little bit more supported. Are you ready? Take a deep breath in. Exhale, engage core, and lift 2 straight legs, all one at a time. And then take the legs straight up and over into halasana, into plow. Otherwise, you can stay in the pelvic tilt. From here, slowly press the hands into the floor. Remember, your feet don't have to touch the floor, your knees don't have to be straight. Just go to wherever you can and gently come down out of halasana, bone by bone, 1 vertebra at a time. Pressing those palms down into the mat, using them like a brake until your legs are back at 90 degrees, feet above the hips. And then you can either put one leg down at a time or both. Now if you're putting both down, you've got to really press that lower back flat to the mat. And if you get halfway and you're doing 2 straight legs and you feel your back is arching, then change to 1 leg at a time. Arms down by your side. So we're going to do that again. Take a deep breath in. Just press that lower back flat to the mat, engage the core and lift up either 1 leg at a time or both. When you get to 90 degrees, continue moving. So the legs go straight into halasana, into plow. Again, your knees don't have to be straight. Your feet don't have to be on the floor. You can be here and that's fine. You can have your hands behind the back to support you as well. Placing the hands flat, slowly use your core to come out of position. Try to keep the head on the floor. Try not to let gravity speed the movement up. Control it, using your hands to act like a brake. And when your legs get to 90 degrees above the hips, breathe in. And then exhale, either push 1 leg down at a time or both. Sucking that core in. Now the slower you do this, the harder it is. And then gently release, breathe in again. Exhale, engage pelvic floor, belly button. Either lift one leg at a time or both legs. When your legs are at 90, exhale, push the legs up and overhead, or you can stay in the pelvic tilt. Breathe in. Exhale, slowly reverse what you've just done. Using the core to control the speed of the movement. Don't let it speed up. Don't let gravity take over. Use your core, use your hands to act like a brake. When you're back at 90 degrees, take a breath in and exhale. Either push one leg at a time to the floor or both. And then we're going to do that one last time. Breathing in. Exhale, pelvic floor, belly button. Lift both legs or one at a time to 90 degrees. And then push up and overhead. That's it. Hold it. Inhaling for 3. Exhaling for 3. Now from here, come into Kanapidasana, bending the knees either side of your ears. Again, if your feet are off the floor, if your knees are in the air, that's fine. Do what you can. And if you're able to interlace the fingers behind the back, now place the hands back onto the back, stretch the legs, come into Salamba Sarvangasana, shoulder stand. Lift that right leg up to the ceiling. Lift that left leg up to the ceiling. Option to come into candle pose from here. So it's shoulder stand without hands. Now if you're going to choose that, you need to bring your feet a little closer to your face. And then you lift both arms up in the air, like this. Otherwise, your hands are behind your back, supporting your spine. Take a few more breaths. And then place the hands on the floor. And come back into Halasana, but wide stance, so the legs are apart. Grab your ankles. And then rolling up to sitting, keeping a hold of the ankles or the shins. That's it. From here, gently let the legs open out wide and drop down. I'm just going to turn round, so facing you all. Try to get the legs quite far apart here because we're going to open out those inner groins and stretch down the side of the spine. So from here, you're going to bend that right leg. Bend the right knee and bring it in, the heel, towards the pubic bone. Left leg is straight, toes of the left foot pointing up to the ceiling, so your leg is not rolling in or out. I'm going to reach down towards the foot with my left hand, and again it's the pincer grip, 2 forefingers and the thumb go around the big toe. If you can't touch the big toe, grab hold of the shin or the knee or wherever you can grab hold of, or you can put a yoga strap behind the foot. So once you've grabbed onto the foot, opposite arm, right arm goes in the air. You're going to bend that left elbow and side bend towards the leg. Now there's a tendency to turn your torso to face the leg. And that's the opposite of what you want to do here. So you bend that left elbow and you turn your rib cage to the right. And you look towards the ceiling, under that right armpit, and side bend. And if you can, grab the big toe with that top arm, you can do that. But you want to feel the stretch down the waist from your armpit all the way down to your waist on that right hand side. And you're really looking towards the ceiling underneath that right armpit. Try to keep both sit bones on the floor. And then gently release. And in between, we're going to come straight into Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. So you're going to bend both knees now. Now again, you can use the two forefingers and the thumb around the big toe. I prefer to interlace my hands and place them under the feet. Okay? Now, I'm just going to take them out, so I'm going to show you. I'm going to pull, it's an upward pull. My arms are going to kind of pull up. So I place the palms interlaced under the soles of the feet. Try to get your heels as close to the pubic bone as you can. Now, as I want you to feel like there's a heavy weight pushing your head down like this, and I want you to resist that, pushing the head up and pulling the arms up. So you're going to lift the head up to the ceiling, lift the breastbone up to the ceiling, and pull the arms and hands in an upwards direction. At the same time, push those knees out to the side in a downward direction. So head, breastbone, arms and hands are pulling up, so the spine is really straight, and at the same time, your knees are pushing down towards the floor without forcing anything. And again, try to get that Jalandhara Bandha, that chin lock, drawing that chin in slightly towards the neck, constricting the windpipe. Close the mouth, close the eyes, and go to the breath. Still actively pulling the spine and the head and the chest up to the ceiling. And then gently release. So we change leg. Extend that right leg out to the side. The left knee is bent this time. Okay? And you're going to reach that right arm down towards the right toes or the shin or the knee or whatever you can grab hold of. Or push the yoga strap behind the ball of the foot. Turn your ribs to the left. Bring the left arm up in the air. Breathe in. Side bend. Make sure you're not twisting the torso towards the mat. Turn it away. So bend that right elbow and stretch that left arm overhead. Okay? Wherever you can reach. Looking and twisting. So you're really trying to twist the ribs to the left, away from the floor, stretching from the left armpit down to the left waist. Hold that breath for a few more seconds. And then gently release. Just shaking out those legs a little. And then we're going to lie face down. So we're going to come into Shalabhasana, locust pose. Now if you want to make this easier, you can do like a half cobra, a sphinx pose like this, where your elbows are level to your shoulders at a 90-degree angle. And then you're just kind of lifting the head and chest. okay, if it feels better for you. Otherwise, come to the very side of your mat, and you've got a choice of two hand positions. So your hands can be like this, with your palms facing away, so that when you roll onto your hands, your palms will actually be facing down on the mat, and then you kind of come onto the hands. Or you can clasp the hands together like a fist, and then place the hands on the floor, and then roll onto your hands, okay, like this. So from here, your chin is resting on the mat, not your forehead. So the chin is on, so you're slightly looking ahead of you. The feet are hip width apart. From here, you're going to push your pubic bone down into the mat, and then push the arms down and lift the legs up like this. Keep breathing. In for 3, and out for 3. And then gently coming back down. Bend the knees, bring your heels towards the butt. If you can, reach for the toes and for the front of the foot like this. Otherwise, you can push a yoga strap in front of your feet, or if you haven't got one, you can just leave your hands here. You don't actually have to touch the feet, okay? You can just raise up like this. But if you can, wrap the fingers around the front of the feet, and we're going to come into Dhanurasana, bow pose. So begin by pushing the heels away from your butt, which will pull on your arms, opening the chest and shoulders, and will start to lift your chest off the floor. From here, keep actively pushing the heels away, but now push the feet up towards the ceiling, lifting the knees and the thighs off the mat. Now notice as you inhale, your belly will fill with air, and it will poke out as it expands, lifting your body up a little. As you exhale, the air pushes out, and you'll lose a little bit of height. So each time you inhale, you'll gain a little height. Every time you exhale, you'll lose a little bit of height. Keep rolling the shoulders back, pushing the heels actively away, pushing the feet actively towards the ceiling, and looking straight ahead. Ten seconds to go. And then gently release. Counter pose, pushing back into child's pose, knees apart, feet together, head on the floor, and arms at 10 to 2. Just stretching out that lower back. And then from here, side bend to the right, bringing your arms and head and spine to the right. So now you should feel a stretch down that left-hand side of the spine from the armpit down to the waist. Reach the fingertips of that left hand forwards while sitting your left butt cheek back on your left heel. And then coming back to the center and going to the opposite side. So stretching the arms and the spine to the left, reaching the fingertips of that left hand forwards and sitting, fingertips of that right hand forward, sitting that right butt cheek back on that right heel, and feeling the stretch down that right hand side of the spine from the armpit down to the waist. And then back to the center. Sit back on your heels and bone by bone, vertebra by vertebra, sit back and stretch the spine back up. Coming to sitting. And just rock back of your sit bones and place the hands behind your thighs. Now you can make it very easy for yourself, just holding this position here. Or you can stretch the arms out in front, letting go. Or if you can, straightening out the legs. Coming into Navasana boat pose. Now if you feel your back is going to do this, and let me try and do it, an arch like that, then that's going to pull on your lower back. So better to keep your knees bent in that instance. Okay? 5 breaths to hold. And then gently bend. Last stretch, Paschimottanasana, seated forward bend. Just pull out your sit bones from underneath you, stick your tailbone out. Toes are pointing up to the ceiling, so you're not letting the feet roll apart or the legs, so the knees and the toes point up. Your aim is to keep the mid-back as flat as possible. Breathe in, reach up. And as you lean forward, hinge forward from the waist, keeping the spine as flat as you can, and then let the arms come down. Try not to hunch like this. So lift the breastbone up, release the tailbone out, and then pull the crown of the head towards your feet, drawing those shoulders down, away from the ears. Inhaling for 3, and exhaling for 3. Inhaling for 3, and exhaling for 3. And gently rolling up. Slowly rolling down. Coming into Shavasana, corpse pose. So let the feet be just a little wider than hip width apart. Let the feet fall out to the sides. The arms are away from the sides of the body, backs of the hands on the floor. And the palms are facing up. Just let the head flop to the left, back to the center, and to the right, back to the center. Take a very deep breath in through the nostrils, filling the lungs. Pause the breath at the top. And then push out all of that stale air out of the body. Do that 2 more times. Inhale. And really push all of that stale air out of the body. Last time, inhale. And then just let the breath return to a normal, natural rhythm. You're not doing it, there is no effort. Observing the rise and fall of the chest and abdomen with each and every breath. And just mentally scan your body now for any areas of tightness or tension. And if you feel you've got any tightness or tension anywhere in the body, just sense the possibility of softening and of letting go a little. Observing your body, how it feels after you've moved the tissue, the bones, the joints, the muscles. Getting a sense of any energy created within the body, a buzzing, a tingling, a sense of blood coursing through your veins. Relax the facial muscles, allowing the tongue to feel heavy in the mouth. Every time you exhale, feeling a little heavier. Just try to observe complete silence now for the next 2 minutes. And then just start to wiggle your fingers and your toes, bringing your mind back into the room. And without opening your eyes, I just want you to gently roll onto your side, taking your time into a fetal position, placing your hands wherever they feel comfortable, but keeping the eyes closed. Relax all efforts now. Giving yourself a mental pat on the back for making it through the class today, putting your body through its paces in any way it could, expressing gratitude to your own body. Now keeping the chin tucked in, because the head is the last thing to come up of all. Slowly making your way up to a sitting position in your own time. And then just placing the hands on the belly, one hand on that lower belly, one hand on the ribs. Just letting the head relax down, the eyes are closed. Just want you to take some deep breaths in this position. As you inhale, your hands get pushed away from the body as the belly expands and fills with air. And as you exhale, the air is pushed out of the body, the belly flattens, your hands come back in towards the belly. Inhale, expand. And exhale, relax. One last breath in.